want to welcome you all to our 2016 DC Buys. Really happy with the turnout that we've got. We've got over 800 people from industry that have signed up for today. Please give yourself a big round of applause for that. You know, we also have almost 50 agencies from the district that are represented today. And really a important thing for me today was to make sure that we're bringing the right mix of people in so that we can connect our program managers and our contracting officers from the district with our industry counterparts. And I think that you'll find in the other auditorium there with almost 50 tables, really good information. We'll have people there that understand the mission of those agencies, looking at what they're buying in the coming years, and also a good opportunity just for all of us to network. So as you know, I've been the Chief Procurement Officer for about 10 months now, and my focus is to continue to improve the quality, efficiency, integrity of procurement in the district. We're very focused on doing that. The last couple of months, we've had the opportunity to engage with about 300 people from industry in a series that we're doing called OCP in the wards. We've got out to Ward 7 and 8 and 2 and 6 and heard your feedback on a number of things. And we'll start those up again the next couple months. We'll have 4 more of those events. Transparency is certainly something that has been feedback that I've heard, though. And we've really been working with our agencies to think about our requirements. And I'm really happy to announce that last week we were able to put out a forecast of contracting opportunities on the OCP website. Now, this is a database that's searchable. It's focused on our large and mission critical contracts, but it's a good start, I believe. It's the first time that I'm aware of that OCP has been able to get that type of forecasting out to industry. We've done that for 2016, and it has large contract opportunities through the end of this year. We're thinking about 2017 already. Actually, as the budget season is beginning to close in the 2017 budget, we're already starting to work with our program agencies on our requirements for the coming year. You know, I really do believe the better that we're able to understand our requirements and the better we're able to put them out into a forecast, we'll be able to engage with industry. And if we're able to better engage with industry, we will increase our competition and we will end up with a better value of goods and services and construction for the district. I also want to make sure that we continue to have opportunities such as DC Buys and to continue to partner with Anna Harvey, with DSLBD, and events where we can engage industry and engage with our program offices to really get those requirements out there and to help that networking. In closing, I do want to say we'll have some panels throughout the day too that should help give some insight into procurement in the district. Give a little bit of a shameless plug that I'll be moderating a panel this afternoon with some of our agencies that have independent contracting authority as well. So thank you again for coming today. I'd like to invite my colleague Anna Harvey to come up as the Director of the Department of Small and Local Business Development. Anna Harvey, prior to her appointment as the Director of DSLBD, Anna founded the Harvey Hudson Group. It's a bank advisory group comprised of national experts in the area of financial compliance, community reinvestment, community engagement, and CSR. In 2009, Anna was appointed by President Obama at the U.S. Small Business Administration's Assistant Administrator for the Office of Women's Business Ownership. During her 4-year tenure, Anna directed and oversaw the agency's efforts to develop and implement programs to increase access for credit and capital to women business owners. At the SBA, Anna also served as regulator for the nationwide network of women's business centers that provided training and counseling to women entrepreneurs in every U.S. state and territory. Anna is a fantastic partner to the Office of Contracting and Procurement, and she absolutely is a fantastic advocate for our business community in the district. Without further ado, I'd like to introduce, please, Ms. Anna Harvey.
Good morning. I'm so thrilled to see you all this morning, and I'm thrilled to see our sister agencies out there trying to engage more closely with all of you, because we are going to make money these years and in years to come. So thank you, George, very much for your partnership. And OCP, I have to tell you that in the 10 months that Director Shutter has been at his post, I think you started just right off the bat, just saying, how can we engage? How can we engage small businesses, small and large? So I feel that I had this baby agency that is trying to do so much, and we have a big charge, but our big sister agency is right along with us, and we feel supported and protected and pushed forward. So the partnership with OCP is just not only good for you, but it's good for us as well. So we are incredibly thankful to have your support and everybody's support, everybody at OCP. Thank you so very much. George mentioned a little bit of the highlights of my career, but I think my highlight, the one that I really like to talk about, is that I'm a small business person. I never ever worked for anybody before coming to government, but for myself. And I started my business, and I became an 8A certified company, and I was subcontractor for many, many years until I had the opportunity to be a prime for the federal government. And it sounds fantastic, and I had really good contracts, and I made money, and it sounds like a great journey, but it was difficult. It was difficult. The bait and switch, I had it. Yes, we'll call you, and they never did. I felt it. Oh great, I got the contract, now how the hell do I pay for all of this? I don't have money. And Mr. Agency, you forgot to pay me. And I had to pay the 10 people I had to hire just to keep up with your contract. All those things are not a theory to me. All those things were real. And I remember the incredible happiness of getting my first prime contract for $250,000. I was rich immediately, until I realized that I had to hire the people to do this, and I didn't have a cash flow that was really conducive to hiring all these people. And many other things that made me realize that being a small business person, you have to be made of a special kind of wood that really, really, really gets you going and gets you up in the morning, every morning, to say, I'm just gonna go. I don't have a salary, I had to make it for myself. This is what drives not only OCP, but this is what drives us personally. I think you have seen that the Department of Small and Local Business Development really believing that we are making a huge difference, and we're proud, and we're challenged, and we like what we do very, very, very much, because not only, we see a lot of paper coming in and out in our offices. Well, actually, we don't see papers. We see PDF, because we don't have paper anymore. So we see PDFs floating. But I do have the opportunity to visit small businesses almost every 2 weeks. Otherwise, I'll be out there having great fun and just getting really, really, really fat, because there's a lot of goods that are being made in the district. So we take members of our team that are doing the compliance, or we're doing the certification, to see what kind of human being is behind the paper, and that's what makes it real. So I want to talk a little bit about what we have done this year. I've been at the job for about a year and 3 months. And I just had a directive from Mayor Bowser. And the Mayor Bowser said to me, blow this up and make it work. That's what she said, make this work. Make sure that there are opportunities for small businesses. And if something is not working, either at DSLBD, just blow it up and make it work. So we've been trying to blow it up, and we have been blowing up things. So last fiscal year, we spent most of our time trying to find that mythical money that is there for you, but nobody could find, right? There is a lot of money in procurement, but nobody really knew how much was for CBEs. So we spent, and I want to thank my team, my wonderful Chief of Staff, Eric Rogers, and my entire team, for the first time, scrubbing the city's budget to really come up with a realistic number on how much money should be going to our certified business enterprises. So we did, and we engaged with every single one of the agencies to make sure that every cent that could go to small businesses was accounted for. And we heard the agencies, and we don't run the agencies, they do. So I'm not gonna tell them how to spend their money. That's between them and George. But I'm gonna get myself in there to make sure that if it comes to small businesses, it does come to small businesses. So we excluded things and we accepted things because some things that the funds are federal, or sometimes there are certain things that we know for a fact that is not gonna be spent with small businesses, so we excluded that. So we came up with $622 million for small businesses in FY16. Of that, 50% should be spent with CBEs, so at least the government should spend $311 million with us. And I said us because I don't know, after 3 years, I might just go back and become a CBE and sit over there for us. So at minimum of 311, and we can go as high as we can. So that's what we did. We also created I don't know if you heard of, you received, if you're a CBE, you should have received our green book, which is just the analysis of every budget from every agency. And it's just a very, very general view of how the money is being spent. But with the new tool that Director Shutter just mentioned, the forecasting tool, that is gonna give you a little bit of a deeper look into how agencies are spending, so you can actually plan. And you can forecast, and you can say, I don't need to do business with departments of Parks and Recs, but I know that the school has opportunities. So you can actually think about which direction you're gonna go. And if you want a copy of the book, even though it's a little bit out of date because the budget keeps moving, and of course some contracts have been out, you can go to cbeconnect.dc.gov and you'll find that analysis there. We also engage the agencies, and we have our series that we call Doing Business With, and it's doing business with the Department of Parks and Recs and Department of Health. So we want you to be closer to the agencies. So if you keep looking, please keep a lookout into our invitations for all these events that we're putting together, because like I said, we're not here to tell people what to do. We're just coming to bring them together and make sure that the windows and the doors and everything is open, so for you can actually go through. So we are gonna do that. Now I'm gonna talk about us, the CBEs, or you, the CBEs, and what we do. Mayor Bowser said, we will buy what you sell if you're selling what we need. This is important. Two things, and this is when I get my mother kind of wrong. If you are a CBE, having a certified business enterprise certification does not give you a contract automatically. It doesn't. It's a license for you to hunt. This is how I see it. I have this, I'm gonna go hunting. And Mayor Bowser said, we will buy you your products or services because we need your products and services, right? So we need to make sure that as CBEs, we grow up to the challenge to say, this is what the government needs, and if I don't provide it, we find a way to team or find a way, we have to be very creative. Sometimes it is capacity that keeps you a little bit outside. So we are working with you. We want to work with you to make sure you increase your capacity. If they need 150 nurses and you have only 15, that is going to be a discrepancy in the needs of the government and what you can offer. We need to be aware of that and say, come to us like, I can only do this. Maybe we can work with very innovative ways to maybe get you a little bit in there or something. But we want to keep the door open for you, but we have to be realistic. And you're thinking, I just mentioned $622 million for small businesses, and we only have 1,100 CBEs. So there's a huge gap there. And what is the gap? when we analyze the budget, we finally realize that we're missing CVs, we're lacking CVs in certain industries. And this is what we're going to do, work with all of you. The healthcare service, healthcare and human care agencies are really, really, really aching because we cannot find the CVs. There might be one or two, and they may not have the Medicaid certification that they need. All those things are finally clear in our heads in my agency. And this is what we want to work with you. So just to end my long speech, I try to make sure that everybody gets the concept very, very quickly. Whatever we want to do, I can explain it in 20 minutes like I just did, or we can just do it very, very quickly. So what is it that we're going to do? All of us, as CBEs, as agencies, as my agency, we're going to help you plan, we're going to help you perform, and we're going to love it when you prosper. Plan, perform, and prosper. That's what the DSLBD is about. So until I change my mind and I go off and find something else to do. So thank you very much. Enjoy this opportunity. Take advantage of this opportunity. And thank you again to OCP for making us part of this wonderful, wonderful event. Thank you.
Thanks, Anna, very much. That advocacy is so much appreciated. You know, and I think a theme that I want to make sure that we're projecting here is really it's planning and coordinating. You know, it's planning and coordinating between our program agencies and the contracting office with the contracting office and with DSLBD, and getting that information out to industry so that we can engage. I am really pleased to introduce our next guest as well this morning. We've got a fantastic opportunity with a very special gentleman that is an absolute advocate for our business community and has a lot of knowledge of the district, a lot of knowledge of business in the district, and so happy that he's here to join us today. This is Mr. Pedro Alfonso. Pedro Alfonso is co-founder, chairman, and chief executive officer of Dynamic Concepts Incorporated. Prior to starting DCI in 1979, Mr. Alfonso gained much of his business expertise and technical knowledge from his work at the IBM Corporation's Federal Systems Division and the General Electric Company's Information System Business Division. He also is the managing partner of DCI's Utility Locate Service, LLC, and DCI's Utility Infrastructure Services, LLC, a wholly owned subsidiary of Dynamic Concepts Incorporated. Mr. Alfonso is a graduate of Howard University School of Business. He served active in various organizations, including serving as the vice chair and board of the DC Public Access Corporation and board member and third vice president of the Girl Scout Council in the national capital. I'm so happy that Mr. Pedro Alfonso is here today. Without further ado, please join us, sir.
George, thank you very much for that introduction. And didn't deserve all the words. And in fact, as I look around the room, I see several individuals that probably could come up and speak about the same things and experiences that I've experienced. But before I get started, because I want this to be relatively short, small story here. I think you're going to have a real treat later on with the Deputy Mayor for Greater Economic Opportunity, Courtney Snowden, going to be here later on this afternoon. You want to wait around to hear her speak. Very dynamic, energetic, prolific speaker. And this is a true story. This is a true story. Yesterday, she was going to be here this morning, but she'll be here at 12. But she was going to speak right after Anna, and I would speak after her. And so my daughter, who works in the business with me, ended up saying to me, I hear you speaking after Courtney Snowden. And she's heard her speak. And she said, true story, you poor thing, I think you need a hug. Because I was in trouble. So prayers are answered. I don't mix prayers with business. But last night I was praying that, Lord, do something. And so I did get a break, and you'll hear from her later on this afternoon. I'd like to thank George Shutter and Anna Harvey for all they do for small businesses, small local businesses, because they really cook up all these business opportunities that are presented to us. And they cook it up and they put it on a plate, they make it pretty, and what we have to do is at least come in the door and eat all they offer, and it's a lot. But you have to be present, you have to be at events like here today, and then you'll hear the full menu of all those business opportunities. So it's important that we are all here today. Not going to say much more about dynamic concepts. I think Mr. Shutter mentioned a few things, but in particular, I just put in perspective, we've been in business now 37 years, always here in the district, and we're running about a little over 300 employees. So we're not tiny, small at three employees, and we're not large, 3,000 employees. So we're in that middle stage that we're working through. And over the years, we've probably changed our business model about 3 times over the last 3 decades. And we used to be a high technology service firm, and now we're more of a heavy infrastructure construction firm, doing probably 65% of our business in that area. So you can change, you can address the market the way it is. We've had to change our management and marketing strategy many times just to address the market itself. So I was asked to maybe present a few perspectives on business opportunities and the challenges of business. And, there's not enough time to give you 10 best practices or even 9 or 8 or 7. So, I thought maybe just 2 challenges for all the entrepreneurs that are here today. And that challenge is make money and share your wealth. Make money and share your wealth. She's looking over there like, I told my husband all the time, share the wealth, give me half, but not quite what I was thinking in that regard. But what I do mean is that you need to be successful and give back to the community, your community in that regard. So how do you make money in that regard? I would say that certainly George Shutter and Anna Harvey and the government and everyone really wants you to be successful. Maybe not so much your immediate competitor, but in general, your family, your friends, the banks, the clients, the government all really want you to be successful. Because if you're successful, you can take care of the family. You're hiring new employees. What they love is you're paying taxes. And therefore, everybody wins when you're successful. So you really have a real opportunity to make money because it's in everybody's interest. So how do you improve your chances of this making money? So I would say that, most of you are, a testament to that. You're here today, and you always need, that expertise, capability, capacity. You need capital to be able to grow. You need luck. Yeah, I said luck, because you got to be lucky. I was lucky this morning that Courtney Snowden didn't show up before me. But the fact that you also need to be prepared and know about business opportunities. And so you're here today on DC Buys 2016. And I say for today, you made the right business decision to be here today, because this day is packed with a lot of information and talking about a lot of business opportunities. And you might sit here and say, I've been through this before, I know 90% of what they're gonna say, but you can't be at a place anywhere today where you're gonna find as many contacts and a collection of government decision makers that could impact your business. So you need to be saying to yourself, I'm gonna leave here with at least one bit of new contract information, and I'm going to meet Anna Harvey. I'm going to meet George Shutter. I'm going to meet one of the multitude of high-level government workers that are here today that certainly could impact your business. So, of course, now this particular event is put on and has been organized by a great team that put in a lot of work at the Office of Contract and Procurement, but it's not the only venue that you'll ever be able to go to, because DCLBD, headed up by, a wonderful leader and competent Anna Harvey, who, as she's already said, she knows what it takes to run a business. But DSLBD puts on a lot of, gives services, puts on a lot of training, and they put together a lot of opportunities that you can choose from and find out where you can get more business. So there's a lot of things out here that are available to you. Not only so you take advantage of all this government type of opportunities that exist, but I would say, Ms. Harvey alluded to it, between Ms. Harvey, the mayor, and Councilmember Orange, they came up with the 2016 CBE Opportunity Guide that lays out all this funding that agencies that Mr. Shutter heads should be doing in contracting, and where's the money. So that's a document that if you're not familiar with, you can follow the money. And those who have the money is based on the services you're providing, those agencies, you can find out who's going to be out there. So not only the district OCP and DSLBD have information, but you ought to consider organizations that do your kind of work and provide opportunities. The DC Chamber of Commerce, the Metro Hispanic Contractors Association, the Greater Washington Hispanic Chamber of Commerce, and I can go on and on, National Association of Minority Contractors. These are all organizations that if you get involved with one or all or many, you can find out about new opportunities, about how to streamline your business, and of course do a lot of networking. And networking is that edge that creates luck, that if you weren't here today, you can't get lucky to meet that right person because you weren't even available. So I would challenge everybody to get involved and attend sessions like the one today, take advantage of it, and so you can make more money. And I keep saying make money, all of us know it as profit, but you don't get profit in terms of bananas, you get it in money. So you want to make more money and big profits is what you want to do. So lastly, just as a note, as you're making this money, I want to say share your wealth. And it's important to make money, but it's also important to share that wealth with the community in some kind of way. But if, I said make big money, and you don't make the money, it's nothing to share. But, that's not, you still have something to share because, as you're growing, you can always give back by maybe just hiring that hard-to-place person, whether it's some, youth, it's senior citizen, it's a disabled, it's a returning citizen. There's always ways you can give back that's not necessarily hardcore money. And so, you can provide it in training, you can provide your expertise, you're in technology, you're in consulting, you're in, and share it with nonprofits. There are so many in this city that do good things. So we all have something to give out. Recently, I had the good fortune of attending and being part of a delegation to exploratory mission to Cuba with the mayor. Wonderful experience. Ms. Harvey was part of the leadership team from the government that we went with. But one of the tours that we took was to visit some entrepreneurs. And there was this one entrepreneur that we went on a tour, and for what we were told, we were going to visit a art studio museum. And as we get there, this museum is being described by this person they fondly just call Papito. And Papito in Spanish is kind of Papa, and because he was kind of the Papa of the community. Not an old dude. He was not that old, but very energetic. And so we're looking at this person, and he's describing basically a museum of all these old barber chairs and just collection of artwork that he had been given over the years as he put this together. Beautiful display of an art studio and museum. But he just, as through his interpreter, what he ended up saying is, at 4 o'clock, that's when I start cutting hair and making money to support my family. And by the way, in Cuba, 50% of all profits go back to the government. So in that, I thought, well, that's admirable. But then we went downstairs, and he showed us his restaurant. When I say restaurant, a very high, it wasn't large, but very high-end, very well-appointed, and it was called Artist Cuts, themed after barbershops. So he made money doing that. Great. You go across the hall, which he walked us to, and he had a barber school. And the barber school, he taught the deaf how to cut hair. And the way they gave back were they cut senior citizens in the community, hair in the community. And I thought about, it's funny, we should be here today, is finding a way of getting some of those deaf students maybe to attend a university like Gallaudet, and something I could kind of do for them. And so I thought, this guy is doing a lot. But then we walked down the street. He wants to walk us down the street, and it's his crown jewel. He mentioned and talked about it took him 8 years to get possession of a very large lot in a main street, and the government gave him the rights to that lot, and he built a barber's playground for kids. And this playground, he won an award because all of the rides were themes around a barbershop that was designed by students from Havana University. And he cut hair for free for kids on the weekend, and it was supported, the park itself, by an ice cream and kind of concession stand that he sold with ice cream made in the community, and his employees were reformed drug addicts that he kind of got back in line. I'm thinking, my goodness, what have I been doing with my life? I said, now I had to really reinvigorate myself that, I need to do something for the community. He showed an example of what, a small business, and he's had his own enterprise itself, the way he was doing things. So what I like to do is leave you with 2 challenges. One, as I said, make a lot of money, and you can do that by using all the tools that are presented to you and given to you. Make sure you become a CBE. 8A firm if you possibly can. We're also in the seat of the federal government. The federal government has a lot to offer. So use all of these tools. And don't leave here today without saying, I've made one good contact for information that I could put underneath my belt, and that I've met somebody who can help. And you know, if you find out a business opportunity that you can't use, think about another colleague, because when you help them, down the road, they'll help you. And when you help the community, down the road, that community will support yourself. So I would say, you know, make money, and secondly, give back at whatever level you can to the community, and in a philanthropic type manner, and you will have a growth pattern and success both inside and outside as you move through all this. Thank you.
A couple of special guests that have come here today that I really wanted to introduce and just give an opportunity to say a couple of words. We have with us here Councilmember LaRuby May of Ward 8. She absolutely is a fantastic advocate for our business community, and certainly a fantastic focus on Ward 8. As I had mentioned earlier this morning, we had these OCP in the ward sessions where we're getting out in the wards and really engaging with the business community in those wards. The best, most attended ward was actually Ward 8. So, Councilmember LaRuby May, if you want to say a few words.
Good afternoon. It is no surprise that the best attendance was in the great Ward 8 director. So we're working very hard. So first of all, thank you for what you're doing under your new leadership at OCP, and definitely that focus on small businesses and very specifically for businesses in Ward 8. So really grateful for this opportunity to be here, one, to represent the great residents of Ward 8, but to see how important it is to make the connection between the services that are offered by the government agencies and our quasi-government agencies and those businesses who want to take advantage of that. It's very difficult for you to put in a winning bid or a winning proposal if you really don't understand what the expectation or what the ask is. And so taking advantage of this opportunity to make that connection is really important. And so we look forward to lots of connections and lots of opportunities for you, but more significantly for those of you who are Ward 8 businesses. We're really trying to stay focused. I stay on message as it relates to Ward 8 and making sure that Ward 8 takes advantage of opportunities. So make sure that before you leave here, that at every table, you meet someone, other business people. Make sure you get their cards and make those connections, not only with the agencies who have the opportunities, but with other partners who may be in the room that can strengthen your proposal to take advantage of those opportunities. So again, thank you, and enjoy the rest of your day.
I also want to introduce a very special guest we have as well, our Deputy Mayor for Greater Economic Opportunity, to say a few words before we kick off our panel. Deputy Mayor Courtney Snowden. She's a sixth-generation Washingtonian. Yes. Born at Howard University, raised in Shepherd Park of Ward 4, and now lives in Ward 7. And I know she has an incredibly busy schedule today as well, but having an opportunity to say a few words, we're absolutely appreciating that.
Hey, y'all. Y'all got to do better than that. I'm sick. I came a long way. Hey, y'all. So I'm not going to be like a good black minister in a church. I'm not going to lean on this podium and take forever, but there's some things I want you to know. This administration has made an unprecedented commitment to small business creation, development, and capacity building. And in particular, we have focused our energy and efforts on certified business enterprises. We, the mayor knows, and we know it in part because of her leadership and because we've lived in this community for a very long time, that small businesses are the economic engine that will turn overlooked and underserved communities around. You guys do the hiring. You guys employ the people. And so what's critically important is that you are also strong and stable and really benefiting from the procurement power that exists in the District of Columbia. Now, my dad used to run, how many people know what an OSDBU is? Oh yeah, my daddy used to run an OSDBU. And one of the things that I learned in watching him do that work was that the federal government really has real procurement power. And that when spending money with the federal government, you can grow a business and create opportunity in ways that other types of industries and other types of business opportunities don't provide, right? Well, that's true with the district government as well. And what I have to tell you today is that it is a fresh start at OCP, thanks to the great leadership of George Shutter. It's a fresh start at DSLBD, thanks to the great leadership of Anna Harvey. And it's a fresh start in this government, thanks to the leadership of Mayor Bowser. We are unlocking the procurement power for CBEs in this city. Now, how many people have heard of this Green Book? Every hand in here needs to go up. That means Faith, we got some work to do. So we, at the mayor's direction, created the CBE Opportunity Guide. We lovingly call it the Green Book. It literally has red and white on it, and that red is my blood and sweat and tears that we put into making that book. And what it does is it illustrates, it outlines every single dollar that we are required to spend with CBEs. It makes clear how we got to the $317 million, which is the minimum level that we are required by law to spend with CBEs this year, how we got to that number. It outlines all 88 agencies and their spending goal. And on the website, write this down, cbeconnect.dc.gov, it also outlines the contracts that are available. Under $1 million? Over $1 million. Over $1 million. Why is that important? The mayor heard time and time again from the CBE community while she was a council person and while she was running for mayor and even now as mayor, that CBEs didn't always know how to access DC procurement opportunities. It was a little like an abyss. You couldn't really figure it out. You couldn't really navigate it. It was unclear what the government was going to buy and when they were going to do it. Announcements sort of just came out, right? You agree? You heard some of that before, right? You've probably said it. Y'all aren't nodding today? Yes? No? Well, what George is charged with doing at OCP is really shining some light on those procurement opportunities so that CBEs can really identify, plan, and then apply and be prepared and bid on those contracts and be prepared to access them so that you can do a thing that's really important to me, hire district residents. If you are strong, you will hire my people, right? And that is why the mayor created my cluster and put in it the Department of Employment Services and the Department of Small and Local Business Development, because it is the marriage of those two that will allow our city to thrive. You play a critically important role in that, and it is events like these that will allow us to create a better relationship, one, but two, and more importantly, really allow you to access that procurement power of government. So when you walk out of this room, I know you've been doing it. I know some we couldn't pull away to come in here. They're doing it too. I want you to network. I want you to build a relationship, because another thing I learned from my dad is that contracting is about relationships. If we don't know who you are, we can't give you the work. So you got to make sure that you're building that relationship with our agencies and really letting us know what services you can provide. One more sentence, George, and then I'm going to shut up. The other thing we want you to do is look at that Green Book to really evaluate where the gaps are in opportunity, right? That's the really critically important thing that that book does. It illustrates where there aren't CBEs to do the work that the government needs, right? The mayor always says, don't tell me what you can do for me, to our friends in the CBE community. Let me tell you what I need you to do for me so you can build and grow your business in that area. That's where the opportunity lies. And so I hope today is as fun and interesting and engaging for you as I hear it has been. Everyone in the Wilson building is talking about this event today. And I'm just so honored that I could break away from my day to come on over here and say hi to you. Have a good one, guys.
Basically what the First Source program does, any vendor, employer doing business in the District of Columbia, getting taxpayer assistance contracts of $300,000 or more, must enter into a First Source agreement with the Department of Employment Services and the DC government. The purpose of that is to ensure that at least 51% of district residents are hired for newly created positions.
This is absolutely a premier opportunity for vendors to fully understand how to do business with the district. We are truly committed to the small business community and hope to engage with them more.